Hello, this video is regarding the basics of algorithms. We will be discussing the basics of algorithm and study the concept of algorithm. What is an algorithm? An algorithm is defined as the finite set of instructions that, if followed, accomplishes a particular task. To be very specific, this task will be executed with the help of a computer. So you can say that it is a process or a set of rules to be followed in calculations or in problem solving operations that are being done with the help of a computer. It is also said to be a step-by-step procedure to complete a task. So these are the various definitions of algorithm. These algorithm, actually we can say it's a method or a process for completing our task with the help of a computer. And the number of steps that are being present in this algorithm are finite. So let's see, or let's have a look at what are the various characteristics of algorithm. An algorithm must have 0 or more quantities which are being externally supplied as the input to it. So, one of the basic characteristics of an algorithm is the input. Then, an algorithm must generate at least one result as an output. So, it is expected that whenever you are solving this step-by-step procedure to accomplish a particular task, the achievement of the task will be the result of it or the output of it. Then you are having another characteristics of an algorithm called as definiteness. As an algorithm is made up of step-by-step instructions, definiteness specifies that each of these instructions should be clear and unambiguous. Then you are having a concept called as finiteness. Finiteness of an algorithm refers to the termination point of an algorithm. As there are some finite number of steps specified in the algorithm, and if you follow this finite number of steps in the order, at one point of time an algorithm should terminate. This termination point indicates that an algorithm is finite. Say for example, if you are having an iterative statement in your algorithm and at one point of time the condition in the iterative statement is not getting false, so it is not going to terminate. Such an algorithm is not said to be a finite algorithm. So for every algorithm it is necessary to be finite, means it should stop or it should terminate at a specific point after its complete execution. Then you are having another characteristics of an algorithm, that is effectiveness. Effectiveness refers to the effective instructions or the basic instructions specified in the algorithm in such a way that these instructions can be performed even manually. So the instructions should be clear, unambiguous, and they should be workable even through your manual procedure. That refers to the effectiveness of an algorithm. So these are the basic characteristics that every algorithm must possess. Now let's see, how do we represent an algorithm? The representation of an algorithm can be done using natural language description. A set of instructions written in simple English language is also a way to represent an algorithm. You can have the instructions written in the sequence which are having numbers, and then you follow these numbered sequence of instructions to accomplish your task. So that is the most simplest way of representing an algorithm. As the instructions are written in simple English language, they are not specific to any programming language or any particular technical aspect of algorithm, but they are very easy to understand and represent by any layman person also. Then you are having another representation of algorithm, that is flowchart. Flowchart is the graphical representation using some standard symbols. These symbols are universally accepted as the standard symbols of an algorithm. Now we will be having a look at what are the various symbols and what do these symbols represent in a flowchart. There is alternative way of representing an algorithm which is very close to your computer program, and you call it as pseudocode. But it's a pseudocode. So pseudo means it is not real code. It is not specific to any particular programming language. It's an informal way of writing code. It is also having some conventions to be followed. So the programming constructs which are being observed in any program are also present in your pseudocode. So it closely resembles a program. Now let's have a look at what are the various symbols which are being used in the flowchart. You are having a specific start and stop indicating symbol to indicate the start and stop of the flowchart. Then a processing symbol is used to indicate the various processing being done on the input data or to indicate the calculations being performed onto the data. The input and the output symbol is used to accept the input from the user and give the result or display the output to the user. There is a decision symbol which is having a specific condition which is being specified in the decision box. Now, depending on the condition whether it is true or false, the decision symbol will be having alternative flows. If the decision or if the condition is true, then you follow the yes path, or if the condition is false, then you follow the no path. So accordingly, the decision box will be having minimum 2 outputs being generated. Then there is a loop. A loop indicates iterative statements present in your flowchart. So whatever conditions are being specified or the number of times a particular block of statement is to be iterated is specified in the loop symbol along with the condition to stop the looping or iterations. Then there is a process module which indicates a subroutine or a function call in your flowchart. There are flow lines connecting all these standard symbols in the flowchart. Apart from these flow lines, you are also having connectors being used to indicate the connection of various symbols in the flowchart from one page to another page, or even the on-page connectors to continue the flowchart on the same page. Now let's have a look at the standard conventions that are being used in the pseudocode. Generally, the pseudocode is using some keywords like read, obtained, get to indicate the input to the code. It also uses the keywords like print, display, show to indicate the output of your pseudocode. For performing the computations, the words like compute, calculate, and determine are used. For initialization, words like set and init are used. Then there is a specific way of writing the expression and assigning the values of the expression to the variable. The variable is written on the left hand side followed by a colon and an equal to symbol, and the expression on the right hand side. The value of the expression is being computed and assigned to the variable on the left hand side. Then the concept of array is also used in pseudocode. An array has index and the indices of the array starts from 0. To access any particular element from the array, you can use the notation as the name of the array followed by a square bracket into which you indicate the index of the element which is to be accessed. Then there are conditional statements like if then and if then else. Depending on whether the condition is true or false, the statements will be executed. In case of if statement, if the condition is true, then the statements which are being specified after then will be executed. And in case of if then else statement, if the condition is true, then statement 1 will be executed. If the condition is false, then the statement 2 will be executed. Then there are various types of loops also used in pseudocode, like the while loop and the for loop. While loop has a condition. When the condition is true, the block of statements specified after while will be executed. For a for loop, you are having a loop variable and the loop variable is initialized to value 1 and it goes up to value 2. In each iteration, it is going to take a step. And during each iteration, it is going to execute the block of statements. So these are some standard conventions which are being used in the pseudocode. A pseudocode will be mostly resembling your program, but it is not having particular syntax. So it is not specific to any programming language. These are the concepts which are being basically used to represent any algorithm. Okay, thank you. This is the reference book which is being used for the preparation of this video. Thank you.